I'm Josephine from we.CONECT, live at the SAMS Europe Conference 2016. These are Dirk and Remco from the ING Bank in the Netherlands, and we are having a small talk about software asset management. Thanks for being here. Dirk, would you briefly introduce yourself and tell us about your job?
Yeah, sure. I'm Dirk Minnee. I'm working within ING since back to 1999, so which is quite a long time, where I came from IT development and then moved over several roles in several areas, from finance, procurement, and business management on procurement, to finally a job within software asset management since 2012.
Remco, what about you?
I've been working for ING for a little bit more than a year. Before that, I worked at Logica, where I did a lot of consultancy jobs in the field of software asset management. Left Logica and worked for Shell as license manager on a global scale, and now I'm working for ING.
ING started the SAM journey back in 2012. Dirk, you have been on board since the early beginning.
Yep.
How was SAM organized before, and what did you achieve within the last 3 years?
When we started, we really started only with a small team. We were just with the three of us in the Netherlands and two colleagues of mine in Belgium. And when we started, it was really from scratch and getting familiar with the subject and the things you need to do. And from then we grew from the really local SAM on some contracts to a real global SAM team and a global collaboration team. We're now up to 15 people within ING centrally, and we've really been able to get in control of our major vendors, at least the most of them. Yeah.
Very good. What was the main aim to start that?
There was some external pressure, let's say. How every organization starts with SAM, we have faced the same challenges, and that we found out that we're not in control as we want to be. So that's a real drive to get it in place. Yeah.
Okay. Remco, as you mentioned, you have been working as a SAM consultant since 2010 for Shell and other large companies. What are the main differences in the SAM between those large companies and ING, for example Shell?
The main difference you see is scoping. What are you looking at as a company? I worked at KPN, and they were also targeting the infrastructure instead of the workstation software, where you see companies like Shell also being involved on infrastructure, but that's a different kind of company where it's all people working in all parts of the world doing the same thing. And within ING there's also the team, which is basically sitting together, working together like on a daily basis. And the job is quite the same. The scope might differ, but it's basically the team where you work with, which makes it a lot easier and nice.
So it's about the people.
Yeah, well, if you look at software asset management, it's the job you have to do, and it just depends on the people you work with and how you can work together.
Dirk, how do you organize your software licenses right now at ING?
What we try to do, and that's the hardest part, we are a highly decentralized organization with quite a federated model, so high autonomous entities across ING. And from that perspective it's hard to get a full control of all software licenses. So what we have is we have some global contracts which we try to get in scope and in control from a license perspective, but we have also decentralized contracts, and what we do is we try to get grip on all deployments in all entities, from what software do they use in which entity. And from that view we collect all the data and we build up the knowledge centrally with the team we have, with people like Remco, to be able to process that data and come to the right conclusion and to say, okay, are we in control or not?
Okay.
Yeah.
Tomorrow you will present a case study on SAM beyond big software vendors. Remco, could you sum this up for us and tell us what you mean with the silver bullets for software asset management?
Yeah, that's one of the things I encountered on last year. All the people are talking about IBM, Oracle, and
Microsoft,
yeah. I almost forgot that one. So, all dealing with that kind of vendors and scope. And we are dealing within the large organization not only with those, but also with other vendors which, well, practically nobody heard about. And there is no solution for that. And that's why we came up with, okay, this is something we want to tell. This is our journey of how to get in control of licenses which is not from Microsoft, Oracle or IBM, and how to deal with that and how to work on that, and just finding out there's no tool which actually helps you on that. So that's the thing we're going to talk about tomorrow.
What other challenges do you see, Dirk, in concerning software asset management in your financial industry?
I don't think it's financial industry related, but I think it's SAM related. If you look at also the messages from a couple of the keynotes of this morning, the essential part is communication. Communication across all disciplines, finance, procurement, legal, architects, you name them. And you really need to be sure that they are aware of the impact of doing their actions on licensing. And if you combine that with a multi-entity approach across multiple countries and the culture it brings with it, it's a challenge.
Okay. How do you tackle those challenges?
The most important thing is you need to keep communicating, for sure. That's where it starts with. And you also need to have the right backing from CIO level to make sure that every entity will collaborate to get things in place. And even then it remains hard. Yeah.
How do you like the conference so far?
It's interesting to see the different visions of different companies on the topic and to see how they have built up their journey and what they have chosen to be their focus areas, which could be different from industry to size of the company and the market they're in. That's interesting to see the differentiations between the different companies working with SAM and everybody doing it in its own manner.
Okay.
Yeah.
Why do you think it's important to come here as a team like you?
I think it's important to have a common understanding on the different topics which are presented, and I think it's also quite important to be there with more than just yourself, because to hear more than one, and everybody's trying to translate the message into his own references, so the same message could be received differently by different people, bringing multiple angles to the same point, and that's where the real collaboration in the team comes to acceleration.
So you see things different here?
Yeah, well, not only here, so it's everywhere.
That's stuff for having discussions and challenging to make things successful in the end.
Okay, sounds interesting. So I hope to see you next year again. And I wish you good luck and happy networking.
Thank you very much.
Thanks a lot for your time, Remco.
You're welcome. Thanks.